Let's start with your boy, Mark Giordano, taking a huge discount to stay here for another 2 years at $800K. How happy were you when that signing came through?
So happy. Mark Giordano's maybe my favorite player in the league next to Austin Matthews. So really excited to see that. And I know that we just spoke about this in the interview, but now we're going to give our own little take about what happened with Mark Giordano. Like we said, staying home 2 years at $800K AAV. The Leafs offered him $1 million a year for 2 years. AAV, sorry. But he said, give me less. Awesome, dude.
What a guy.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the eye test with Mark Giordano, doesn't make any mistakes, and that's his value. For anyone who says to me, Mark Giordano just isn't really noticeable. That's what I've heard.
That's amazing.
That's the good part. The fact that he does not make any defensive mistakes. He is no liability, and I think something that is a big contributor to his value on this team is that he makes players around him better, and quite notably with Liljegren.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Right, I expect them to be a mainstay pair next year for the entire year, but yeah, talk about it a bit.
Yeah, it was, 800K for a guy who is going to be an important player next year, even against Tampa. Sheldon Keefe played Giordano in pretty big situations. When we had the lead, he was on the second power play and he killed penalties. He clearly was really a real big fan of that trade, because as soon as he came here, he had a pretty prominent role on our back end, and that's huge. To get a guy who can have that value, 800K, you can't ask for anything better. And if he wasn't already a fan favorite, which I think he was, this will kind of put him over the top. And as a fan, to me, this signals that even despite some of the playoff mishaps that we've had, guys, especially guys from Toronto, still want to come here and win, which is huge, and something that when we were growing up until now, guys never wanted to come home. Guys like Steven Stamkos didn't want to come home, even when we were even younger, because we were kind of a tire fire. Guys didn't want to come home. This is just a huge sort of shot of confidence for the fans that if guys inside the locker room still want to be here and still believe that we can win, I can still believe that we can win too. And I'm really happy for what this means for Liljegren as well, because he had a huge role in his development over the last, let's say, month or so of the season and into the playoffs. I'm really kind of excited to see how his development progresses when he can have that consistency with Gio next to him all the time.
Yeah, Gio adds a lot of value to especially what you just spoke about, and also the fact that he bolsters up the second line power play if Sandin struggles or if Sandin gets hurt like we saw earlier this year. Yeah, this move makes so much sense all around. Gio looks like a team guy. Like when he's on the ice, he makes all the people around him way more passionate. I did not know Mark Giordano was that feisty of a player. I know he's my favorite player, and I watched him a lot in Calgary. But man, something about putting on that maple leaf just made him go like crazy in a good way.
Give me more.
Getting in every single scrum possible, protecting his players, making the players around him better. I love this move.
That's that dad energy.
Gotta
love it. For the Leafs, protecting his kids. Speaking of dads, another kind of veteran on the Leafs made some news. Kind of sad about this, but happy as well. Jason Spezza announces his retirement and is now going to take a front office role with the Leafs, basically effective immediately. So he'll be involved for like the draft and free agency, everything that comes this offseason. Kind of what are your feelings? I have some thoughts about this, but I want to kind of hear what you're thinking first.
Yeah, first and foremost, let's congratulate Jason Spezza. 1,248 games, 363 goals, 632 assists for a total of, so sad, 995 points. So surprised he didn't play a few more next year to get the 1,000, but we'll talk about why that might have happened. Like you said, effective immediately, but I think Dubas in the conference said that they're going to give Spezza time to choose where he wants to be, but they assumed player development at some point. Yeah,
I think they're going to give him a chance to kind of survey what's out there, which is kind of really cool of them to do. And then I'm assuming by some point next season, he'll have a pretty established role.
Yeah, really sad that he didn't end up getting to win a cup on this team or even making a deep cup run. But you know what? Hopefully the fact that he retired without getting that cup lights a fire under the younger players and says, look, we wasted this guy's opportunity to not win a cup. Let's not do this with guys like with Simmons and other guys like that. Like
Giordano.
With Giordano. Let's go out and get a cup. I mean, I think the reason he retired is because there's honestly no more room on that fourth line. Like, especially with how well Blackwell and Abruzzese played this year, this isn't really surprising to me. I mean, maybe Nyes changes his mind too, and if that happens, I mean, Jason Spezza is sitting in the press box anyway. Sure. I think if this was next year where Kasha, Camp, Kerfoot were leaving, then maybe Spezza stays because there was a guaranteed spot. But with the way that the guys that we brought on from college and in those trades were playing now, it was probably the best decision because he wasn't going to get that much time.
Yeah, and I mean, I think maybe there's also a bit of like, there's not pride on Spezza's part, but maybe Dubas or Keefe would kind of feel bad if he's kind of sitting out the majority of games. It's not like you don't want to maybe do a guy dirty like that. Let's say at the 5 away from 1,000 sucks. I'm actually going to shout my mama because she brought this up to me because I don't watch breakfast television in the morning, but she does. And she said that Sid Sixero said that Mike Babcock's the reason Spezza doesn't have 1,000 points because he played him 58 games that first season.
Yeah.
Give him another 20, I can't do math, 26 games? 24 games?
You said he played him 52?
58.
68, 78, 24 games.
Okay, I got there in the end. You can get 5 points in 24 games. So is that, what do you like? We're going back in history now.
So you're telling me Mike Babcock ruins another career?
Yet another one added to the list.
I never understood why he didn't get time that year because he was great on the second line power play. He had an extra jump. Like Jason Spezza clearly lost a few steps since that time.
Yeah.
He was still fast at that time. I remember people, like there were memes on Twitter about how fast 38-year-old Jason Spezza was at that time. Yeah. And yeah, Mike Babcock's had him, sad to say.
It took him a while to think his acceleration's not there, but his top end speed and he was still even effective this last year. Had a couple of decent games in the playoffs, so it was kind of took me by surprise. I know there were rumors that he might come back in a player development role or a management role, but I didn't think it was actually gonna happen. But good for him. Hopefully they can win a cup for him. He might be the first member of the management staff to get the cup second after the captain because they might want to just give it to him right away. But good for Spezza.